Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Music of the Week. Not really much to go through for this one. I have about 5 albums to go through, so I'm going to go through them as quickly as I can manage, okay? Okay. We begin with Aviations and their third album, Luminaria. I think it's their third. This is an album that came out back in September, and yes, by the way, as we go on with this year, because we're in November now, we're getting closer to, me not needing to review as much, which is good. There's still only 6 albums to go through. Anyway, Aviations Luminaria, this is the third album. This is sort of a prog metal sort of thing, but one of the more prettied up post-hardcore leaning ones. I'm giving this one an A. Highest grade of the episode, but not the only album to receive that grade in this episode, so keep in mind for that. But yeah, I really like this one. It had some obviously really solid prog metal-y riffs, really good guitar work without as much reliance on gent, which is quite nice to focus more on the complexity and technicality of prog. I really like the additions of things like keyboards and strings. They actually help to flesh out the sound as well, so sort of like prog symphonic metal in a way, but without being super heavy. Like, most of it is just very clean. The performances are very clean, just really, really nicely done, very technical. I don't know who the lead singer is, but he does a really good job. It's nice to have a prog rock fronting male lead singer who can actually sing really well. I mean, okay, there's Spencer Sotelo, but besides him, who else can you think of? Either way, yeah, I really like the lyrical themes on this one as well. I really like the themes of reflecting on the past and longing for it, and it's really nice to have solid stories in a genre that isn't known for its storytelling, but I really liked how that was presented. The lyrics, the production's really nice, very good detailing, love the mix, love how everything fits in, especially when they do experiment more, which also lends nicely to the pacing and the overall construction of the album. Structurally wise, it's really well handled too. For an album that's over an hour long, the longest album of the weekend, by the way, it doesn't really feel it. It finds so many interesting ways and so many ways to build, and without just throwing stuff at a wall, it feels like a very focused shot of shit thrown at the wall. But everything kind of sticks, and it all graduates into some really interesting and smart ideas. And nice to have a prog album that's smart without making you feel dumb. Well, without making me feel dumb. So yeah, go check this one out. It's got really good stuff on it. Next, we have Crime in Stereo and their newest album, House and Trance. So despite the fact that the album is called that, Crime in Stereo are not a house or trance act. They're a melodic hardcore punk act. I'm giving this one a B. I quite liked a lot of the elements of it. I thought it had some really good melodies to the guitar work. I like how chunky a lot of it felt, and it's got that melodic hardcore pacing, which I've always been a sucker for. I don't know what it is, but I think my main sort of issue with this album is the fact that I've heard of Crime in Stereo before. I had never listened to a full album by them, and this is their first one in 13 years, so I kind of missed the mark. But I don't think it was a bad album to jump on with. I like the sort of political leaning corruption themes, very good political stuff in the lyrics, especially, again, dealing with the post-pandemic thing. I like the performances a lot. I thought everyone was really good. I thought the production was quite nice. It was on Pure Noise, which is always a bonus for me, whoever they got to produce this one. They did a really good job. I think structurally wise it's really good too. I feel like some songs maybe could have been a bit longer and fleshed out more. A very darkly fun album in a lot of ways, and a really solid hardcore punk lesson if you're even vaguely familiar with Crime in Stereo, so it might be worth your time. Next we have End with their second album, The Sin of Human Frailty. Now this is the first one on this list of albums from last weekend that I've listened to before. I listened to End's previous album, Splinters from Never Changing Face, back in 2020. End, for people who don't know, are a very black and hardcore leaning metalcore bands, with band members from bands like The Acacia Strain and Counterparts and Fit for an Autopsy. And there's others, but I'll just list them right now. And everyone's pretty good. I'm giving this one a B+. I thought it had some really solid stuff going on. The riff work is probably where it's at its strongest, though. I love how bloody furious it feels. I wish we got maybe some solos in it, but I like the dissonance of the guitar work, and it fits well with the drumming too. The lyrics are about very dour topics like, death and mortality, and some slight political stuff if you look hard enough, but it is mostly about the personal stuff and about things like loss. And considering that the lead singer is Brendan Murphy, who I think, he's the lead singer for Counterpart, but I think he writes the lyrics for them as well. That doesn't surprise me that he would go to those dark themes. Speaking of performances, everyone's really good. Genuinely hard to really pick a standout. Maybe Brendan, but I genuinely think everyone's great here. Production's really good too, really nice dense mix to things, and structure isn't bad either, but I think it might be my biggest sort of problem with the album, and it's a weird problem to have because Splinters from an Ever-Changing Face was an incredible album as well. I mean, I think I gave that round an A, and it didn't make my top 30 of 2020, but that album's only 3 minutes or so longer than this one, but that one got a lot more done with only essentially just one more song, I think it was, you know, but this one, I don't know, I feel like maybe it did need one more song or a couple more. The last song, Aleppo, though, is amazing, and obviously a lot of the moments leading up to that point are really good too, so if you're vaguely familiar with Counterparts, or again, all the other bands that have been listed by this point, and you just want to hear what they would sound like together, give this one a spin. It's good stuff. Next, we have the Gaslight Anthem with their newest album, History Books. Now, I know, it's a bit weird to hear the word gaslight without any sense of irony, because I understand what the term is, or at least I think I do. But, you know, the Gaslight Anthem is a band that's been around since the mid-2000s, long before, like, the term gaslighting was a thing. This is their first album in 9 years, though. They did break up back in 2014 or so. That's when they released their last album. And this is a nice, charming bit of Heartland-led folk punky stuff. Giving this one a B+ as well. I have a sort of soft spot for these guys. I'd been listening to, like, I did hear their past couple of albums before they split, and obviously when they came back, I was going to check this one out. It's got really good stuff in it. I like the riffs. I like, the more acoustic tinge stuff. I like the more, like, traditional punky guitar stuff, and I like how just organic it feels, and especially in terms from a production standpoint. It's got some really good bits going on there as well. I quite like a lot of the detailing. The mixing is just very, very clean and well produced without being overly processed, which is always really good. I do like the main themes of recovering from the past and trying to have empathy and forgiveness towards yourself. It's a really solid thing to work towards, and one that these guys can absolutely pull off. There's some really good stories to be told. Performances are really good too. Standout might be lead singer and rhythm guitarist Brian Fallon, but he's always just sounded amazing. He's got one of my favourite voices in this particular style. And, structuring isn't bad either. Really solidly put together songs, really good flow to everything. Just really good shit from a really good band, so I'm glad I'm back. And I hope that they continue to put out really good stuff like this, so yeah, go give this one a spin. Next, we have a bit of a surprising one. We have Hollow Front with their new album, The Fear of Letting Go. And I say surprising because, for some weird reason, I kind of forgot about this band, but then I was doing my research and I found out that I actually covered their last album, which came out last year, which I don't remember the name of, but I remember quite liking the album, and I remember I like the emotion on display, and pretty much everything about that album is stepped up to a lot of really good places on here. I'm giving this one an A. However, oh god, it's not been an easy year and a half on the band. Like, man, basically, not long before their last album came out, they had a bus crash accident, members left. There was basically only 2 people on this album, case in point, but I guess, like, by the time that their last one came out, they'd already recorded everything and they put it out as it was, with all the people back then. But despite that, fucking hell, this is almost the Ghost Inside / I Prevail levels of carrying on through that trauma. Of course, no one can really top the Ghost Inside of their self-titled album, unless we rule themselves, but I still think this was really fucking well done. The emotion feels a bit more earned as well from the only, like, 2 members that are with the band. I'm sure that they got session musicians as well, but we don't have any names for them. The structuring, why am I going to the structuring? The instrumentals are really good. I love the melodic leader stuff. I like the new guitarist on this one, Lee Albrecht. He does a really goddamn good job. His solo work is really good too, and I'm glad that he gets a lot of chances to show those chops off. The lead singer, whose name I think is Tyler Tate, does a really good job as well, and he does a really good job of conveying the message of, going through all the shit that they went through in that past year and a half as well. Really good focus on loss and the pain of it, and maybe it's a little bit generic in terms of that, but the tone and the emotion with which it's delivered makes you fucking believe it. I've already sort of glossed over the performances. Production-wise, really, really nicely handled too. I like how clean it feels. Again, very nice organic vibe to things, which is sort of weird to get in post-hardcore leaning metalcore. I forgot to mention that was the genre for this one, but that's sort of where it is, more on the post-hardcore side. Think Holding Absence, but a slight bit heavier, with more screaming, and I love Holding Absence, you know me, but yeah, this was just really good stuff as well. Production solid, structurally wise, really good too. I like the build-ups to the breakdowns. I like that we get some more breakdowns. I like that we get some good solos. We get nice build-ups to big moments, and I like the fact that the band got to fucking express the pain that they went through over the past year and a half. Because again, can't have been easy on them. I mean, oh god. I mean, any album that's like this, like Polaris' last one, when they've gone through a pretty fucking tough time in during the post-pandemic years, it's probably enough to earn a spot on my list. But yeah, this is really good stuff. And finally, we have Poppy with her new album Zig. So Poppy is a fairly popular musician, no pun intended there. Probably the most like well-known name I'm covering in this video, and you know, she does mostly deal with like pop and many of its subgenres, but she doesn't really stick to one. Give this one a B. I quite liked. Yeah, by the way, the lowest grade of this episode is a B, and 2 albums get it. So good shit all around. I quite liked a lot of this. I think Poppy's shtick overall is really good. I like the fact that she took a more industrial, dark pop lean with this one, and I think that works well. I think she's a good performer. It's not even in the lyrics, actually, which cover themes like independence and uncertainty. That's just, you know, what she says in an interview about the themes. But I didn't really get that. I felt more of like a menacing theme and more themes about like relationship stuff. I don't bloody know. But you know, I like the dark pop elements in Poppy's performance enough, and the new producer she works with, because she gets a new one for each album, I think, does a really good job in this one. I think their name is Ali Payami. I think they're Swedish. They do a really good job. Sorry, he does a really good job on this one, and I think structurally wise, it's really good too. But again, might have a slight issue because while I do like Poppy, I genuinely do. I think the main problem is that she's so unwilling to push further than I think she wants to, and from what I know about previous albums, I think she did do that. I've only listened to this and her one before this, which was Flux. Like, these are the only two Poppy albums I've listened to. And I feel like I sort of got on the wrong one, but, you know, she's just someone doing whatever the hell she wants with pop, and it's very nice to have someone like that who is genuinely adorable and very fucking scary. But, you know, she's a solid performer. You know, her vocals aren't terrible. Her rapping's... That's a backhanded compliment. Her vocals are pretty good. Her rapping is pretty good too. Her songwriting does need work in terms of its consistency, maybe, but, you know, it's okay. You know, production's not bad. Beats aren't horrible. Structurally wise, again, feel like she could have tried to push things out a bit more. But, as it is, solid Poppy album. And that'll about do it for me now for the unofficial ranking system, which everyone stays for. We have Poppy with Zig, Crime in Stereo with House and Trance, End with the Sin of Human Frailty, The Gaslight Anthem with History Books, Hollow-Front with The Fear of Letting Go, and Aviations with Luminaria right at the top. So that's a total of 6 done. But as always, you should go and give all of these a spin at least once for yourself, as to what's next from me. Oh, tomorrow, a reaction maybe. But the big thing tomorrow, the big, huge thing, is Defy the Gods 5. I've still got some outsiders to work on, and we have one more match to add to the card to make it a total of 13. But I can't fucking wait. It's all been building to it, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really excited for tomorrow night. So I'll see you all hopefully for that on my Twitch. As what's next for me does a video, maybe a reaction tomorrow, possibly for the night on Sunday because there's a call this weekend. So yeah, I'll see you all basically for whatever the hell I wind up doing next. As always, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye-bye.